Okay. Hello, Assalamualaikum, and very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that everyone are doing great and still staying safe wherever you are now at this very difficult time. It is really good to be back. Welcome to another episode of Real Estate, the Strata Talk Show, brought to you by the Excel Academy of Real Estate. Thank you so much for tuning in again this week. My name is Ami, and I will be the host for tonight's episode. And tonight's episode is about big data in real estate and property development. As we might see now, almost every industry is bound to use a big data. Everything is about big data now, from the education sector to healthcare industry, and not to mention real estate and property industry as well. So do stay with us for about 1 hour because this is a very interesting topic to talk about. And ladies and gentlemen, join us today is our guest speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Najib Razali, Director Real Estate, Faculty of Built Environment and Surveying, University Technology Malaysia, UTM. Assalamualaikum, Doctor. How are you today?
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you very much. I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Najib, for your time. Uh, I'm very sure that everyone are excited for tonight episode. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question to ask to Dr. Najib, feel free to write your question on the comments box below, and hopefully we will entertain your question at the end of our session later. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Najib.
Thank you very much, Chairperson Amir. I'm very honored today to share with you my knowledge based on our research on big data. This is quite a new topic in real estate actually, and it's very interesting. Since I have a background of IT in my master's degree, so it's actually caught into my attention the latest development in what we call as what we known as Industrial Revolution 4.0, whereas some of the elements such as big data, artificial intelligence, blockchain, virtual reality is all very interesting. And as an academician, we don't want to left behind compared to the developed countries. So that's the beginning of our research in, especially in at my University Technology Malaysia. We want to explore how big data can be implemented in real estate, and specifically in because real estate sector is very big. Okay, there's many areas that we can explore. Some say for example in property development, property management, estate agency, valuation. So it's a very huge area where we have to really thorough to explore it, go into the details, and to ensure it can be put into implementation. So today, I'm going to share with you only a brief introduction. So later we'll in the next session, I believe in during CPD seminar, we're going to look into detail how it can be to make it into reality. We don't want just to be on paper only, on framework only, but we want to be this application of IR proposal can be implemented in real estate. Okay, simply to say, it's enough just reports. You can just a simple report and put on shelf. After that, then industry cannot use it. So that's a big mantra actually among the industry people towards academic like me. We only know how to research it, explore it, but don't know how to implement it. So now we are going, we actually try to prove it. Otherwise, it's a challenge for us actually to ensure that the we can implement this concept into reality, especially in real estate industry. So sorry about the graphic here. It cannot appear somehow somewhere into this application. My topic today is on big data for real estate and property developments. Currently, I'm the director of real estate at the University Technology Malaysia. So if you do have any question regarding on the academic courses in UTM, postgraduate, PhD, master, you can just contact me, just email to me. So now we look at the basic concept of data. So because the name is big data, so it always we going to handle a lots of data, because a big and the data, so you combine together, it become big data. So now we compare what are the differences of the big data and traditional data. Okay, traditional data that we have been dealt with this a long time ago. Okay, since the beginning of the civilization. Okay, we manage all the data, whether it's being structured or non-structured. But when we come a modernization, in especially the introduction, the establishment of the internet, we organize the data, we classify the data, so it become the structured data. But in big data, we try to manage the raw, unstructured, and semi-structured data. Okay, then we discovered what what we can do all the data into the business. Okay, because big data, real estate is a business, so it become big data and business analytics. Okay, so previously the data, we only know how to do a statistical analysis with known condition. But now we use the data to predict. Okay, let's say for example in maintenance management, we can use the data to predict the maintenance management procedure, predictive maintenance, something like that, in especially in property management. Okay, so the differences between traditional, another aspect of the differences between traditional and big data is a terabytes of data. Okay, it's up to the terabyte of data, but in big data it's very large and messy data because it's too big and too details. Okay, and also it includes graph, audio, and video analysis, such as social media, such as recording, such as a graph. So all these together, combined with the lots of data, big data, large and messy data, then only we know we can categorize this under the group of big data. Okay. So in traditional data, it only dealt with ad hoc query reporting, high latency, and large volume data, and rational, relational, conditional. But in big data, we analyze it we call it analytics to become sentimental, predictive, behavioral, and machine learning. Okay, this need to be explored a little bit further. Okay, in order to ensure it become a reality. So in traditional data also, it's based on relational data model and based on the known relationship, whereas in big data, it's very difficult to establish the relationship between all the information. Hence, unstructured data in the form images, video, have to be considered in big data analytics. Okay. So, in terms of the advantage, you need to know when before we try to explore if business in a property business want to explore to how to use the big data, we need to know what are the advantages. Okay, sorry about it looks nice in my PowerPoint, but when transferred to StreamYard, it become like this. So in terms of ability to pick up micro data, some companies we deal actually in day-to-day business. We actually deal with the risk. It's a vulnerability of micro data, as it's pursue solution to protect the big data assets. We actually, in the company, we have a lots of data, so we need to protect it and then to analyze it. Okay, because every day in the business we actually deal with the risk as well as the vulnerability. Okay, so the massive files related to product, as say for example pricing, inventory, will always receive prioritized attention in terms of security. So but how about the sensors that pick up the inventory information? Okay, For instance, if you are storing bulk degreasing solution that will be later bottle it and censor on the vat, say for example, the solution of malfunctioning. So how the micro data somehow capture. So in simple way, in big data concept, if we have to deal with the smallest, or what we maybe we thought it's not really important data. Okay, so in big data, because we use software, we use technology, it able to pick up the micro data. Okay, so to get the sense of the role of macro data, it will help. It's really helpful to think about in terms of credential of the data. Okay, it can what do you call it, scan and scan all the type of data where we can use it for our type, I mean different type of purpose. Okay, and you never want them to compromise or expose all this data. So without this file, there are no access anything else, yet they often represent one of the vulnerable area in the business, okay, in property business that use an IT as a tools. Okay, the next one is in terms of prediction. So in terms of prediction, we cannot run or we cannot avoid by using mathematics or time series. Okay, so the time series is a historical data, at least 10 years. Then only we can able to analyze it in systematic way. Okay, so the time series will help us to understand where property markets are headed tomorrow. Okay, because we know that now is a very challenging area, a challenging time, yeah, due to the pandemic, due to the financial crisis. Now we're dealing with the health crisis, okay, which already into the third year. So no sign is going to uh, this going to be ended. Okay, next maybe we have to deal with the financial crisis. Okay, I heard that I think we all heard that the oil price getting increased day to day. So where are we heading actually? By using all this information and data, we need to become more ready. Okay. The key words here is to make our business, property business, resilience. Okay. Therefore, we need to use everything, every technology that around us. Okay, including this big data. Big data. Okay, it's a clear. I believe it is a very clear benefit in terms of to use of forecasting, better investment and development deal making, and higher financial returns. Okay, I suggest the industry out there, when we want to hire a new human resource, a new talent, try to get someone that able, to use data analytics, because it is very become it right now. Okay, those who has those graduate that have this skill, they will become very valuable in the market. Okay, say for example, you have one set of data in the single market's property price, so we can use auto-regressive integrated moving average, or ARIMA. This is one of the type in statistical analysis, which in UTM we actually teach our students how to use this type of statistics. Okay, to make a short-term prediction, especially on property finance. Okay, so this type actually can assess seasonal variation, identify the trends and patterns in the data to make estimate of future performance. Okay, in real estate development, especially, we want to predict our sales price. Okay, forecasting of the price of house price. Okay, forecasting the volatility of house price, the volatility of the international market, the what do you call that, property portfolio market. Okay, so that's the use. We can use a big data analytics. Okay, so this including macroeconomics such as GDP, unemployment, financial inflation, other financial indicators such as mortgage rates, interest, and market indices, and many more. So actually, the big data actually can integrate the information, this macro and microeconomics information. Okay, And then we have predictive analysis, of course, like I mentioned just now, by using the prediction. This, oh, forgot to mention, this including social media, search engine, and other non-traditional sources. This is very important because social media has become one of the important market tools right now. So we need someone that taking care in this social media tool as a marketing tool in our company, right? All right. Next is a algorithmic model. Is a statistical model that can actually you don't have to become a statistician to become an expert in algorithm. Okay. So, an overview of big data is this is the level of complexity. Okay, at first we only maybe well versed in descriptive analysis like mean, mode, median, all the frequencies. Okay, and then we step up into next level. We use diagnostic analytics. Then we go to predictive analytic. Then we go to the prescriptive analytics. Sorry. So right nowadays there are so many companies that offer this kind of training. Okay, where you can just easily sign up online. You don't need to be there to go to the center or house, software house to study about all these things. Okay, I believe uh, 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 other than private company, universities such as UTM also offer to this type of courses. Okay, this to use diagnostic, predictive, and also prescriptive analytics. Okay, so I'm not going to explain one by one, but in big data, we need to have all these characteristics such as volume, velocity, variety, as well as variability, right? So now we go to how we are able to use of I mean in big data, how we going to put ourselves into the leverage situation. Okay, in terms of that detailed analytics, uh, I'm talking about from the perspective of real estate development. Okay, we go to the analysis on the neighborhood in heterogeneously, such as neighborhood characteristic, crime rates, price appreciation, zoning, infrastructure, and also investments such as, like I mentioned just now, micro. Okay, and also the all the financial indicators. Okay, so this is very interesting where we can integrate actually the GIS elements into big data. Okay, all right. So in terms of digitalization, we use like this graphic mentioned. We use apps such as apps in order to what do you call it, manipulate all the data that we gathered and analyze into the big data analytics. Okay, and then we transferred it into more commercial applications such as big data, whereas we can use it to be as our marketing tools, or we sell this copyright uh, to get a subscription. Okay, whereas customer can sign up, of course, because it's very dynamic application, we actually can sell it. Okay, social media. Okay, marketing and sales. So big data also can also improve the marketing, as like I mentioned, always mention in this presentation, as analytic tools. Okay, into risk mitigation. So the application big data, especially in property development, where is a deal with the commercial real estate, it bring down the financial uncertainty. Okay, we don't want we try to avoid the financial uncertainty. Okay, so therefore we use predictive analytics, business analysis, such as we try to predict the demographic in the area, age and states of the building, rebuilding records, information of current owner, etc., etc., etc. Okay, the details in at the one type of property. So we have many data from big to small. Okay, and we need to clean the data sets to become in order to ensure it become more important in terms of creating predictive analysis pertaining to the financial risk of investing in certain buildings and projects, perhaps, especially in property projects. So big data actually can help insurance company as well to provide right insurance for prospective buyers or homeowners that have actually make better assessment. So this is actually all the stakeholders in the property development project. Okay, so we need to leverage it, right? Okay, of course, big data, when we try to when the property try to integrate with big data, we want it can able to boost the property development. So developers have able we when they use the big data, they can identify the value of the data that hold to boost the profit margins. So they are sourcing clean data sets in order to feed and train sophisticatedly. Such as if you want to use artificial intelligence. Okay, there because by using artificial intelligence, they actually can predict on behalf of us. They actually can give an answer like we last time when they I think over the past decade we have seen many software that able to use to do a forecasting. Okay, but it's quite limited because there are very little information. But by using big data, in that big data application, actually there is statistical analytics where we call as analytics. We it can able to predict it, okay, based on the time series. Okay, so for property developers, information such as local government records, such as regarding infrastructure, such as for example, the data on the street that been built, okay, that close to the proximity to our property development project, shopping complexes, okay, schools, public amenities, okay, park, or we have some additional value to the property such as rivers or sea view, something like that. Also the social media, okay, that's another important thing in big data, right? Marketing and sales, I think I already mentioned many times in this presentation how can we actually manipulate all the data that transfer into the marketing and sales. Okay, so in valuation also, in the real estate valuation is very important. Normally professional will rely on their experience and expertise to appraise a home. Often they will also perform a comparative market analysis that taking into account neighborhood, shops, and proximity to schools. I mentioned just now as well. So big data actually, how can we use big data in valuation? It can great benefit from the data sets that can be fed into artificial intelligence models. Okay, I could say here, it looks like this what you call that, this technology able to replace a profession, a values profession, but I believe it will not able to replace values, because in valuation they still need a combination of art and science. Okay, you need to have uh, we need to humanize this technology actually. AI cannot do everything for us, but we as a valuers need to have these skills. Okay, the big data skill, artificial intelligence skill, in doing predictive algorithms to enable the valuers to price to appraise the home sorry, property price, okay, as in current trends. Okay, so the relevant data points may include current supply and demand, sales volume, property characteristic, and the fluctuation cost of construction. Okay, when we have all this data, we're able to predict to able to have a quality valuation report, right? Okay, next is property indices, property price indices. So there are so many models in doing property price indices. Okay, Singapore using a different methodology, Malaysia using a different methodology. Nothing wrong, nothing right, because it's a knowledge whereas we can argue each other, we can have the debate, but ultimately we want to have a good solution, a better understanding, and a good information for a betterment of the industry. Okay, so property price indices actually deal with the data science application into investing, have proliferated in finance, and today data driven computer models. Okay, so unlike public listed equities, however, every reported transaction in real estate actually represent the exchange of unique assets, and there are no two properties identical. Okay, and every two unit that has transacted can be different. This actually, what I'm saying just now, is a attribute that contribute to the property price indices. Okay, so property price indices actually deal with the data science. Okay, so alternatively, analysis can be restricted, not just comparing the price changes, but there are more information that need to be in as contribute as attributes in developing the property price indices. Okay, so big data in real estate. Okay, okay, I'm going to discuss here one of the good example in retail property, which is based in United States. So I think we all this retail, although it's their business is not in Malaysia yet, but maybe one day. So some of the brief background of the Walmart. It's a large retailers that over 2 million employees and 20,000 stores in 28 countries. So Walmart actually grown their big data analytic department, and in 2005, the company announced that they were in the process of creating big data system. Okay, so it's the world largest private data cloud. Okay, currently to enable the processing of 5 petabytes of information every hour. So this information actually I derived from the book from Bernard Ma. You can actually Google it. So what problem is big data helping to solve? Okay, so we know that in retail property is a very fierce competition, yeah, industry, with large proportion of people living in the developed world count on to provide them with this day to day essentially like our own Giant or Tesco Lotuses right now. Okay, so having the right product in the right place at the right time, so the right people can buy them, present huge logistical problem. This is where the demographic analysis taken into place in doing big data. So product have to be efficiently priced to send to stay competitively. Okay, the data of the price goods are very important. Okay, so Walmart actually established Walmart Labs, and their first a fast big data team to research and deploy new data lead initiative across the business. So they call it Data Cafe or State of the Art Analytics Hub at their Bentonville, Arkansas headquarters. Okay, so they actually built a new headquarters in Arkansas, where they have a data cafe. Okay, so the analytic team can monitor 200 stream of internal and external data in real time, including 40 petabyte database of all the sales transaction in previous weeks. So the day-to-day business, every hour, every minute, they record it and they analyze it. So it's a real-time data which drive the Walmart into very good business performance. Okay, so what were the results? Okay, so Walmart tell the author that the data cafe system has led a reduction in the time it takes from problem being spotted in the number to a solution being proposed, from average of 2 or 3 weeks down to only 20 minutes analysis. So Maybe previously we have to wait like 1 or 2 weeks to receive market reports. Okay, but now maybe up to down to less than 30 minutes. Okay, so what data has been used is a transaction data. You can imagine how can be you can use in property development. The transaction that for Walmart is a transaction of their goods, okay, the retails, and but in property maybe the house, the property, the every types of property transaction, and represent the most recent weeks of business. Okay, although the different type of business, because Walmart deal with the Walmart main business is a day-to-day goods, okay, the things that we use every day, okay. But in property maybe it's a not every day, but the details of the data is very important, because we, although it's not everyday transaction, but we're able to know the trend when actually people buy a house, buy a property, when actually people like to invest, okay, something like that. Okay, on top of that, it pulls data from other 200 sources, including meteorological data, what things to do with meteorological, weather, okay, economic data, telecoms, social media data, gas prices, and database of event taking place into the vicinity of the Walmart stores. Okay, so that's what Walmart call data democracy. Okay, whereas it has a policy for intelligently managing the data collection was actually adopted, involved up to several system design to refine and categorize the data before it was stored. So actually, we at UTM actually have experience doing maintenance management data and in Putrajaya buildings, government building. The challenging to implement the big data application there is to categorize all the data, the maintenance data. That took actually about 2 months, 2 or 3 months. We have only 9 months to finish the project, so we are really in a hurry to analyze all the data. Okay, we need to categorize it before it is stored. Okay, the technical challenges, of course, the analytic rotation program is things to do with the software, the IT terms. Okay, a broad overview of how analytics is across the business, and let people know how can use this term, use this IT big IR 4.0 element into to make it in to put into strategic eh, organization. Okay, so what are the key learnings and points that we supermarket, this is in the case of Walmart. Supermarkets are big, very big, fast, constantly changing businesses. They are complex organism consisting of many individual subsystems. Okay, and then this makes them a very ideal actually, because they deal with the many data. Okay, and taken a lead in data-driven initiatives such as loyalty and reward programs. That's why we can see now every supermarket or hypermarket, they have their own loyalty program. And Walmart have shown that cutting-edge big data is just as relevant to them as it is to Amazon and Alibaba. Okay, so these two big companies actually already put data into their business. Okay, so we can see that big data technology stacks that we can put into the business, such as infrastructure, data management, analytical tools, application. These four items actually we can as a big data tools. Okay. So this is the data management. Okay, we need to have in terms of data management, like I mentioned just now, the most challenging one is to categorize it. Okay, so in the way forward, we need to collect all real estate data to make it into four category: value, velocity, veracity, and volume. And we need to also have efficient process right on the beginning, and then we're able to make use the technique of data capturing by employing econometric analysis. So the key points here, you need to have IT experts, um, statistical, also the of course, if you want to put into the property business, you need to have someone with the property or real estate background. Okay, property development background. Okay, don't worry if you. I always mention to my student, actually here in UTM, if you don't have no knowledge about the IT, in our organization, we always can outsource it, or we can hire the person that have that expert in this area. Okay, we don't need to know everything. Okay, we need to share together, combine all the minds, brainstorming, and then we can have a very good outcome. Okay, so data, we need to do a data architecture as well, and data transformation. Okay, all right. I think that I'm sorry. I think that's all from me. I very brief introduction, I guess. And should you have any question, please type in the chatting box, and we shall have another session to discuss into details about the big data in the real estate and property development. So later maybe I could show you our reality project. Thank you. I pass to Mr. Amir.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Doctor. I hope that everyone can now have an idea how big data will impact our industry, real estate industry, and property management industry. So we came now into the Q&A session. So guys, if you have any questions to ask to Dr. Najib about our topics today, big data in real estate and property developments, feel free to write your question on the comments box below, and hopefully Dr. Najib will entertain your question now. Okay, so we can see there is some question coming in from the participants. Okay, and the first question is coming from Mr. Tan. Thank you, Mr. Tan, for the question. Okay, hi doctor. Any idea how to handle large data set like an unstructured data, and data come from documents, videos, audios, text files, and other sources? That's mean how to manage a large data set that's come from various sources like document, videos, audios, and text files.
Okay, from my experience, uh, actually, on how to handle the large data sets, we need to actually, like I mentioned in my presentation, we need to categorize it first. Okay, we need to hire one that what I call as a data editor. All right, this has doesn't need to have a IT background. It can be anyone actually. You can hire, outsource it. It doesn't have to be your own. If you don't have a staff, you can actually uh, uh, take a short-term staff contract, just for just to do data editing first. Okay, that's the first step actually. You need to categorize it. When we're doing on the maintenance management data in Putrajaya, the big challenge actually to do the data categorization. So we hire actually two or three data editor on contract basis to categorize all the data management, maintenance management into several activities. What client want actually. Okay, of our client, we they want maintenance management. That means we need to categorize it into civil, electrical, landscape, okay, M&E, lift, something like that. Okay, so we need to categorize it and then go into the details. Okay, we apart from that, we also analyze the Facebook or other social media that complain about the maintenance management in the government's building. So we analyze all the complaint, whether it's good or bad, not just bad but also good. So we also analyze all this data, because the in doing when we use big data application, we need to analyze all type of data, this including video, if someone upload it, because in this modern day, this 21st century, people like to upload to make it become viral. Okay, So we also need to analyze it. What actually their points actually? Sometimes sometimes it doesn't make sense their complaint, but we also need to make it negative into positive. Okay, maybe they have some point they want to highlight, which sometimes being neglect by the vendor. Okay, and the company that doing maintenance management in the government buildings. So in a nutshell, I would say that the first thing you need to do is hire the data editor to manage the data, actually to put into categorization. Okay. Oh, data security tools. Okay. Another question. Yeah. Okay. Ami, you are muted actually.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So that's mean if we don't have any, I mean, expert in the industry or in the organization, we can outsource any data entry that we that can, I mean, edit and analyze the data, right,
Yeah, yeah.
Doctor?
We can
Okay.
actually guide them on what data we want to put into categorization. Yeah. Yeah.
Understand. Okay. So hopefully, Mr. TF, Doctor has answered. Doctor Najib has answered your question, Mr. Tan. And the second question is coming from Mr. D. Thank you, Mr. D, for the question. And the question is, what about any recommended data security tools to secure a huge set of data, Doctor?
I In terms of data security tool, there are a lot. Actually, there are many in the market. Actually, I cannot recommend I don't know. I didn't make any comparison. I cannot. It's unfair for me to highlight. I mean, to recommend one of the tool actually, because it's biased. Because and also I have to be fair, because in doing that I have to compare it. Because I'm an academic, so we need to explore it and analyze it. Okay. So but what I want to mention here, in terms of data security, it's actually the it's a big still a big problem in Malaysia. Actually, we have a cyber security problem. Okay. So I would say, I believe the government right now try to solve this problem in terms of cybersecurity, especially on cyber attack that actually breach our data easily. At my university actually currently doing one project with one of the GLCs to advise them on cybersecurity, or like this one as data security. Okay, but we actually found out it needs some strong support from the federal government, because these things actually things to do with the law. Okay, cyber security law. Okay, when we have a good law and regulation, actually it's also will contribute to the data security tools. um, I always believe, because I have a IT management background, not just on look into the tools, software, but also into the part of the management. So in management, the good, when if you want to ensure our data is safe, actually we need to have not just software but also support from the laws, as well as the regulations. All right. If I want to name want to recommend data security tools, actually we can easily just google it. But the most important thing here, we need to have a strong policy and laws in terms of data security. It's still actually a
Understand.
big problem in even in developed country.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. Okay, we came into the next question from Miza, Mizadi. Thank you, Mizadi, for the question. Hi, Dr. Najib. What approach can we apply to integrating a data from various sources and combining it to create valuable information?
Okay. Okay. This is based on our experience when doing a maintenance management project for government building. Actually, we have many data, so big data, lots of data. When if we want to table into Excel, it likes infinity, okay, because it's a time series like 10 years ago data, and every day is data. The technicians data, okay, day to day data, electricity bill, something like that. We manage, we gather, we collect all the type, all this data. But when how we can apply or integrate data of various company to create valuable information, like I mentioned just now, actually we use econometric analysis. Okay, we use statistical analysis actually. Okay, to make a predictive, preventive maintenance management. Okay, so one our major case study is elevator or lift. Okay, we analyze leaf data. Actually, we want to make some forecasting what in order to prolong the life cycle, okay, of the elevator actually. Because in building actually the most problematic um, part in the building actually is elevator. Okay, it's really hard to maintain. So we use econometric analysis as well as the some of the statistical analysis to use all the time series data, including the what they call that, the tools, the data, what they call the check, the what they call it, technical things of the elevator actually. Okay, the parts of the button actually we actually analyze it, and we analyze it using big data. We use Microsoft Power BI. That's the one. There is I actually name of one of the company in the big data analytics. Actually, we use Microsoft because in UTM we signed up it actually. Yeah. So it's free for us to use it. Okay. Um, we use Microsoft Power BI to analyze it. All the tools, the statistical tools actually, it's already embedded in the Microsoft Power BI. Okay, and I also have my PhD actually in property economics and finance. So I have statistical economic, a statistical background, okay, as well as econometric analysis. So I use my knowledge to analyze it using a big Microsoft Power BI. Okay, so when we when we analyze the data, we actually can predict what is the best maintenance day of that elevator. Okay, what when they are supposed to make a replace some of the equipment in the elevator. Okay, so um we actually report it to the funder of the our project actually. But I have to admit, whether it's been proved right or wrong, we need to see maybe 1 or 2 years later after the project finish. Okay, so we call it as validation. Okay, we want to validate our results. So we need to see, I think, next year to prove that our analysis is right, is correct. Okay, correct. Thank you.
Understand. I hope Dr. Najib has answered your question, Encik Nizar. And yeah, we have another question coming from Ruby Hussein. Thank you, Ruby, for the question. Doctor, as we know that our customer details are always changing, so how to manage this constantly changing landscape of data inputs?
So this is very interesting question that relate to the my case study that I presented just now, Walmart. Okay, because Walmart have a similar situation where the data, the customer details are always changing. In fact, they like you can refer to the I mean to my presentation just now, PowerPoint. Walmart actually established the what do you call it, data cafe. Okay, they established one special unit to look into the big data. Okay, so they actually analyze everyday data, lots of millions of data, to make it to leverage all this data in order to format to become very competitive. Okay, in especially in United States. Okay, they are become the major retailer center in US. Okay, so for example, data on demographic. Okay, data on preference. Okay, the customers' preferences. Okay, the preferences, the customers in during early 2000 and now actually are different. Okay, that's the demographics have been changed over time. Okay, so one example that I can give you is on demographic. If demographic means population, age, okay, including their preference. Okay, you need to do a maybe, oh, I think Walmart did some survey. What are the customers' preference? Okay, the locations of the neighborhood. Okay, the accessibility to their center. This including the online shopping. Okay, nowadays people love to do online shopping. Okay, especially after during this pandemic. So that's actually one of the example in customer details are always changing. Yes. Okay, last time we don't even um we never imagine that we can at least can actually can shopping by using our just by click. Okay, shopping, online shopping, right? But maybe in future there is a new I've been to US. Amazon actually use hybrid. Okay, you can use mobile apps, and then you just bring you go just go to their shop, and they just collect all those items, but it has been paid, so no close contact with other person. Actually, it's very minimal, very minimal. Okay, so this is one way of Amazon to handle with the pandemic situation, right? So the keywords here is you know to how analyze the data using a statistical analysis. Okay, so I have to say here, if you want to use the big data analysis or the analytics, you need to have a good analytical skills. So hire a person with a good mathematical background. You don't have a choice. The numbers are very important.
Understand. Okay, I hope Dr. Najib has answered your question, Mr. Ruby. Okay, let me see if there are any more question in the comments below. Okay, last question, I would say. Yeah, from Mr. Lee. Are there any successful example of big data in Malaysia real estate industry, Doctor?
Because this is a very quite a new, relatively a new thing.
Okay,
I cannot see any of the good example from Malaysia yet lah. So that's why I cannot put in my presentation.
I see.
So
Hopefully soon in Malaysia.
listen, because in from our academic point of view, we actually propose it to the company. Okay, but it's up to them whether they want to use it or not. Okay, sometimes due to
Understand.
the cost, due to the process is too long, something like that. You need to have perseverance in order to get a future success. Okay, like Amazon, Walmart, they are invest on big data long time ago, but their story of successful is today. Okay, we need to be perseverance. Okay, but I could see some of the company like in my in this in Johor, like Johor Corp.
Mhm.
They really excite. I mean, they have enthusiasm to use all these type of new in industrial revolution items in the company. So we should see some of the successful story in future. All right. Mhm.
Understand. Hopefully soon we can see a lot of Malaysia company will
Mm.
implemented
Maybe
more data.
maybe maybe there are some, but not to my knowledge. I'm sorry if
Understand.
I'm wrong.
Understand. Okay. Thank you so much, Doctor. I think that's our last question for
Thank
tonight.
you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much everyone for tuning in on our tonight episode of Big Data in Real Estate and Property Developments. And before we end our session today, I would like to invite everyone to attend Dr. Najib CPD seminar on 22nd of March 2022 on the same topic as well, which is the big data in real estate and property development. So if you are interested, you can contact the number down below 017-856-2228, or you can go to our Facebook and register your interest in our Facebook on our website. Thank you so much again, Dr. Najib, and thank you so much to all participants who tune in our Strata talk show tonight. Hope to see everyone again on our next episode, which is next Thursday. With that, thank you again. Stay safe and good night.
Thank you very much. Stay safe.